Hello, welcome again to another portion of this story of Hermann Hesse called Augustus, and it's about a poor woman and an older man who lives next door, and she has a child, and her husband, through some misfortune, died before. Right after their wedding. So I'm just going to read the last sentence of the section 2, which says, which reads, "In the evening occasionally one heard from his small ramshackle house delicate music wafting forth as from as if from very many small fragile instruments." Okay, so there's this sound that comes across occasionally, and this is the first instance of that described in the second section, as we're going on with the third section now. And our guest speaker is Sierra. Sierra, you want to say hello?
Hello.
Okay, Sarah's been really helpful in going through the first two sections. And I guess you can see our mark here.
Yes, I can see it, yes.
Good. So we sort of keep track of where we are that way. And so I'll read the sentences out loud, as always, and Sierra will repeat them after me. And please read with Sierra to get a sort of sense of the flow and the sound of the words. And then I'll ask her specific questions about the grammar to unpack how the sentences are constructed. And please try to ask yourselves as we go through what your answers would be in order to participate in sort of figuring out what the sentences mean. Okay, so as you know, Hesse was a very famous and beloved author, read in the United States more than any other German author. Okay, so are you all set, Sierra?
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. Starting with the first sentence here. Dann fragten Kinder, wenn sie dort vorübergingen, everybody?
Dann fragten Kinder, wenn sie dort vorübergingen,
ihre Mutter, ob da drinnen die Engel oder vielleicht die Nixen singen.
Ob da drinnen die Engel oder vielleicht die Nixen singen.
Good. Okay, so up to here, let's see. Just in that first three words, where's the verb?
And the fragten.
Yeah, and that what does that mean?
They asked.
They asked. So it's always good to supply either he or they, so that we know that we're looking for either a singular or a plural subject. And what is the subject?
Kinder.
Kinder, yeah. So then the children asked. And what is the direct object?
Ihre Mutter.
Great, fantastic, right here. So we underline the subject, put a box around the verb, and circle the direct object. And you can even, if you want to be fancy, you can draw an arrow from the verb to the direct object to show that it transfers its action to a direct object or an accusative, as so called. So now this is parenthetical, a relative clause. So when can mean either the temporal when or the conditional if. In this case, it's temporal. When they passed by there, and from gingen, past tense. And then the sentence goes on. Ob da drinnen die Engel. So from here, this is your main verb, fragten. And then up actually introduces another subordinate clause. So what's the verb of that? What's the verb of that subordinate clause, Sierra?
Sangen.
Sangen, yeah. And this is actually indirect. This is a subjunctive case because it's an indirect question. So German goes to the subjunctive mood for that case. In that case, okay. Whether therein, i.e., in the house, the angels, or perhaps mermaids were singing. So you want to do that? Just translate that whole sentence from down to the comma right there.
Sure. Then the children asked their mothers when they passed by there, whether inside there were angels or mermaids singing, or perhaps mermaids singing.
Not inside, but whether therein angels or perhaps mermaids, water nymphs were singing. Going on. Aber die Mutter wusste nichts davon und sagten, everybody?
Aber die Mutter wusste nichts davon und sagten,
Nein, nein, das muss ein Spieldose sein.
nein, nein, das muss eine Spieldose sein.
So up to the semicolon, up to the colon, where's the verb?
Wussten and sagten.
And how do you know that Mutter is actually a plural form instead of a singular?
Because it has the umlaut.
Yeah, that's the first reason.
The verbs are plural also.
And the verbs are plural. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the mothers knew nothing about that, and they said, again, no, that must be a, and then verb complex in that after that last comma, 9.
Muss sein.
Good, and that means by itself?
It must be.
Perfect, yeah. Okay, let's see. Just so translate from aber. This is really a charming paragraph. Go ahead.
But the mothers knew nothing about that and said, no, that must be a play box.
Yeah, so they're sort of disregarding the mystery of this thing entirely. Okay, going on. Dieser kleine Mann, welcher von den Nachbarn als Herr Binswanger angeredet wurde. Everybody?
Dieser kleine Mann, welcher von den Nachbarn als Herr Binswanger angeredet wurde.
Gut. Hatte mit der Frau Elisabeth eine sonderbare Art von Freundschaft.
Hatte mit der Frau Elisabeth eine sonderbare Art von Freundschaft.
Good. Just notice this th final is pronounced like a T in German. So Elisabeth, like that. Okay, good. From here, let's see. Now, looking at this whole sentence down to here, where's your main verb?
Hatte.
Good. And what's the subject?
Kleiner Mann.
Good. Ja, dieser kleine Mann. Good. And where's the direct object?
Eine sonderbare Art.
Good. This whole thing right here. Yeah. Good. Eine sonderbare Art. Now notice this. The way that this whole sentence is constructed. You have the noun in the beginning, separated by a relative clause, where you can't find any of the core elements of the core sentence, which are always outside of that. Even though this has a verb here, but this is a relative or subordinate clause. And here's your main sentence. So, just as you said, dieser kleine Mann hatte eine sonderbare Art von Freundschaft. That's your core sentence, and everything else is sort of syntactically built around that. Okay, so what does welche refer back to, Sierra?
The man.
Good. And where's your verb in that relative clause?
Wurde angeredet.
And always read it in order. Angeredet wurde. And so one telltale of a subordinate clause is the main verb and the helping verb are reversed. So who was addressed, or who was addressed by the neighbors as Herr Binswanger. Now, I guess I should point out, I suppose this is right, that this is like a play on words, definitely, because bin means I am, and Zwanger with only one S means pregnant. So he's, dealing with, or he's, helping in some way, as we'll see as the story unfolds, with a great help and helping this lady in her situation. So okay, you just translate that whole sentence there slowly. Diese kleine, down to the.
Sure. This small man who was addressed by the neighbors as Herr Binswanger with the Lady Elizabeth
Mhm.
an unusual kind of friendship.
Great. Okay. Let's go on. Sie, one second. Okay, we're going from here. Sie sprachen nämlich nie miteinander, aber der kleine alte Herr Binswanger grüßte jedes Mal auf das Freundlichste. Up to that point?
Sie sprachen nämlich nie miteinander, aber der kleine alte Herr Binswanger grüßte jedes Mal auf den freundlichste.
Good. Okay, so where's your verb in the first sentence, part of the sentence?
Sprachen, they spoke.
Yeah, they spoke, referring to both the Frau Elisabeth and Herr Binswanger. They spoke, namely, never with one another, miteinander, but the small old Herr Binswanger grüßte. And this is actually aber actually joins two independent clauses. They're both independent, but the small greeted every time in the most friendly way. This st, remember, is always the sign of the superlative as an adjective, in the most friendly way.
Okay.
And then going on, wenn am Fenster seiner Nachbarn vorüberkam, everybody?
Wenn am Fenster seiner Nachbarn vorüberkam.
Okay, so when, now remember, wenn is either when or if. I think it's conditional here. So if he came over, vorüberkam, if he came over to the window of his female neighbor, going on, und sie nickte ihm wieder dankbar zu und hatte ihn gern. Und beide dachten, everybody?
Und sie nickte ihm wieder dankbar zu und hatte ihn gern.
So where's the verb? Und beide dachten, up to that point. Where's your verb?
The verb is nickte.
And what goes with that?
Oh, okay. That goes with sie.
With zu here.
Oh, with zu. Oh, zu nickte.
Yeah. So this is a separable prefix that separates from the verb zu nickten, which means to nod, simply. And you remember, it always floats out to either the end of the sentence or to a coordinating conjunction. So this und joins two independent clauses. So the zu can only float to this point. It can't go any further, because here you have another verb complex, hatte ihn gern, and then beide dachten. So actually two more main verbs. So she nodded to him, dative, ihm, wieder, so again or obligingly, thankfully, and enjoyed him. Hatte ihn gern as an idiom for einen gern haben, means to enjoy one or to like one. And they both thought, and let's go on, wenn es mir einmal ganz elend gehen sollte, everybody?
Wenn es mir einmal ganz elend gehen sollte,
dann will ich gewiss im Nachbarhaus Rat vorsprechen.
Dann will ich gewiss im Nachbarhaus Rat vorsprechen.
There's an idiom here, Rat vorsprechen means to go for help. So if, and then this is, I think, conditional also, to be construed that way. So if it should go to me once, great want, if I should be in great want, then I want, will ich gewiss, then I want to look for help, certainly in the Nachbarhaus, without any reference specifically, but it's obviously implied and understood, that they both thought that they'll go to the neighboring house, of the one or the other if they're really in difficult straits. Okay, thanks much for helping again, Ciara. You did a great job. And thanks also for everyone else joining. We only went through 14 minutes and 54 seconds. So see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.